Sickos Club.
Sickos Club.
Hello, motherfuckers. It is I Blade Daily, and as the very groaning man in the song of our theme for Sit Down the Hard Way.
Who's the best podcaster in the world? Huh? Is it Dave LaGreca? Huh? Is it Bully Ray? Is it Mark Henry? I'm just curious. Tell me, Blade. Is it your boy? Is it your boy Bully Ray? Huh? Is it Dave? Yeah. Laugh, dipshit. I'm the fucking best now. I'm the best podcaster in the world. There is no more complete podcaster on the planet. Nobody's got my body. Nobody's got my mind. Nobody's got my brain. Behind the desk, on the microphone, hell, even in the goddamn booth. I don't need a whole group backing me. I don't need someone advising me in my ear what to say, how to walk, how to talk. There is nobody, and I mean nobody who is on my level.
Hi, Brett.
Hey,
Brett. Welcome back.
Hi, I'm back.
I'm I Blade Daily, and for the first time in God knows how long, as you can tell, I am rejoined by Brett Michelle. Brett, how's capitalism treating you these days?
Well, I'm tired and my feet hurt.
Yeah. Busy holiday season.
Yeah, because we do work real jobs, and I bought my first pair of New Balance today because my feet hurt so much.
Wow. You have truly reached old person status, and I'm proud of you.
Your AARP envelopes in the mail.
They came with a grill spatula.
Nice.
Yeah. So
yeah, now all you need is a meat thermometer now, and you're set.
I got one.
Perfect. And in addition to Brett Michelle, I am joined by the toast of the Turd Coast. That would be Cadillac Margarita, Professor Degree. Cadillac, how you doing? You look old and sound like shit.
That's the last time I let you do my intro for me. I feel old. I was up till 3 a.m. yesterday, and I was doing all of the screaming for the entire Now Arena last night.
Apparently.
Do I have a deeper voice?
Dear Chicago, where the fuck were you last night?
Yeah. It was weird. I felt like there was a crowd the whole time, and I could hear them, and they were off in the distance, but I never quite knew where they were. And I at one point was like, why did they build this arena with such terrible acoustics? It was really strange.
Well, I didn't even fucking notice until everybody in the fucking world pointed it out that the crowd was kind of dead. And, right at the top of the show, I was like, this is great. Crowd sounded pretty hyped. And then I think part of it had to do with getting two just fucking crazy matches back to back. And then the crowd just kind of chilled out. I noticed a little bit, but to me, I'm not very sensitive to those things. Fuck, would you like to add to the conversation?
Yeah. For me, it was more just like, it wasn't like consistently quiet. There was just a lot of spots in matches where you would like, oh, that's going to get a reaction, and nothing really happened. It seemed like people were kind of, I don't know, like maybe not paying attention like they should. I don't know.
I felt like they were interested. They definitely liked the show, but it just seemed like I was waiting for those roaring waves. I think a lot of it, to your point about the two crazy matches at the beginning, I think people were, number one, I think a lot of the matches on this show were only announced like a few days before the show happened. So maybe there was like a disconnect. I don't know.
I think people were also pissed that Takeshita lost.
That was what I was going to say. Like, I don't know if it was that they were pissed, but like, I walked in there thinking I knew how this C2 was going to go, and I was shocked. I was 1,000,000% wrong.
I think we all were.
Yeah, so maybe they were disappointed in general, or they just felt like there was like confusion in the air.
Yeah, I think there was definitely some of that. I definitely had a vision for what was happening in the C2, and I think that it will be fulfilled, but not at all in the way I expected. This is one of those times where I think AEW is unpredictable in a way that might have varying results depending on what you're into, right? And that's fine. You know what? That is absolutely fine.
They took a big gamble on something that developed, and luckily it really did seem to pay off on the show. But if it didn't work how they were we'll get to it. But if it didn't work how they were hoping,
right,
could have gone bad.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, the I don't know, the obvious answer in my brain, or the first thing my brain goes to is, okay, well, we had a story that we're going to tell, and we could tell that story in the C2, or we could tell that story separately outside of the C2 and use the C2 to tell a different story. And that's what it boils down to. And that's not a bad thing at all. And I liked the way it went.
Well, and so, like true professionals, as I said, we haven't even said what fucking show we're talking about. We're talking about AEW Worlds End. Welcome to Sit Down the Hard Way. I'm Blade Daly, and I'm very confused for a lot of reasons. And some of them are related to the show, and some of them are just my problems.
Anyway, who wants to talk about the show? I was there. I was in attendance.
Well, it took place at the Now Arena. Professor Degree was there in person. There was a 0-hour show.
Dumb arena name.
It is a dumb arena name.
I miss when arenas were called cool things. Like in San Diego, we had Jack Murphy Stadium, and then it became Qualcomm Stadium, and then it was like fucking like something else, and now we've got Petco Park.
You got Petco Park.
Like we had the Murph. That's so cool sounding, the fucking Murph. Anyway.
I don't even know what the name of the Sears Tower is right now.
Is it not the Sears Tower?
It's not the Sears Tower anymore, but like everybody just fucking calls it the Sears Tower. Come on. Anyway.
What do they call the Statue of Liberty now? The fucking...
It'll be the Liberty Mutual Statue of Liberty, or like the Statue of Liberty presented by Liberty Mutual, or something like that.
Awesome.
Co-sponsored by fucking Bank of America.
Well,
shit.
There was a lot of good wrestling on the pay-per-view, as one would expect, right? I mean, that was no surprise to anybody.
Like no matter what happens in an AEW pay-per-view, we could just assume the wrestling was fantastic.
Yeah, dude, I bought my tickets before they even announced a single match. I was like, oh, fuck it, it's going to be good. You know, I
just bought tickets to Dynasty in Vancouver, and I have no fucking idea.
Revolution.
Yeah. And it's like,
that's in March.
Even like the day of, I'm like, oh God, we're going to a pay-per-view. Like, oh shit. Oh, this is it's going to be fucking amazing. I think I was saying that to you last night. Like, I'm going to see some shit. And I did see some shit. It was pretty fucking cool.
100%.
I did see some shit.
So, just to kind of overview here, we had a 4-way world title match that was going to be the main event with Hanger, Swerve, and MJF and Samoa Joe.
That's why I did my intro. That was MJF intro after he beat Daniel.
I figured that out. Okay. Eventually.
This is called a preview. Okay. I'm trying to preview, give people a little idea what to expect. So
it's like when they do the little vignettes, they should do more of those.
We were going to have the semifinals of the C2 with the winners of each bracket taking on the runners up from the other brackets that they had been in, which meant that rather than the finals, which a lot of people thought we were going to see Kazuchika Okada versus Konosuke Takeshita in the finals, we would see them in the semifinals because of the way things played out. And unlikely underdog Jon Moxley would be facing Kyle Fletcher, who had won the gold bracket.
Match of the year.
Moxley would be the blue bracket winner. And we had some other stuff, but those were kind of the highlights.
Yeah. In a match that we all knew the ending to, Fletcher took on Mox.
Yes.
Until we fucking didn't.
Right.
That was a super good match, too. Anyway.
So let's just dive in. We saw, they announced that Okada versus Takeshita was going to lead off the show. I think this was a match everybody's really geared up for.
I didn't know that. I missed the announcement. So I was like, oh, shit.
It was on the 0 hour right before the show. So
I was watching the Chargers lose.
Oh, I see.
Before the show, I met Aubrey Edwards, which was really super cool. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah.
Somebody was like, hey, the Outrunners are on the other side of the arena. And I was like, well, we got a half an hour. Let's go like see. And we're on our way. And then I see Aubrey and I'm like, fuck, oh my God. And like, I've met a bunch of wrestlers. I've met a lot of C-list celebrities. I fucking met Stan Lee. My heart was beating out of my chest when I met. I was like, fucking Aubrey's so cool. I'm a fan. And we didn't even have to pay for it.
I feel like me and Aubrey have the same fashion style, like the same look.
Do you like to wear stripes?
No, like when she's not reffing.
I see.
That was because she's
like,
a ref.
Like soft butch lesbian.
She was in full ref attire when I met her for five, not even 5 seconds.
She's known to be super awesome just all the way around. So.
Well,
you met the Outrunners too.
I met the Outrunners too, but like those guys are all wrestlers. Aubrey's like a celebrity. You know what I mean?
True.
Like she's like a superstar because
she's the Earl Hebner of her time.
Well, and she's like the thread that ties all of it together. She's like the character that's in every, she is the Dark Tower of fucking AEW. And it's like, I don't know, whatever. I just thought it was cool. So I was just like, I was super excited.
Like the Stephen King book?
That was all. And then I met Stephen King books. And then we met the Outrunners and they were like super polite, super nice, super professional. It was cool. That's all. That was my zero hour.
Brad.
That's great. So the beginning of the fucking show.
And then I was like, holy shit, we're going to get this match first.
So we start the show with a dream match, essentially. Kazuchika Okada versus Konosuke Takeshita. They teased it with a triple threat with Mascara Dorada at All Out months ago. Knowing that this is kind of the slow build towards something that we've all wanted to see.
Which, real quick, speaking of Mascara Dorada, I do like the idea that someone said that he should be the new Freebird member of Brodito, and they should be Brodito Scara, and I would like that. Okay.
That's sweet.
Yeah, it was cool. Somebody, I saw some people go like, why is Bandito on the 0 hour? It happens to most people in AEW at one point or another.
The fabulous free Brodito Scara.
All right.
He's on the 0 hour to hype the crowd. That's why.
Right.
I mean, there you go,
and to get him somewhere on the show. You know? And so we got Okada versus Takeshita in our first semifinal match. The stakes for this are huge because Okada is at the time, the Continental Champion and the, unified champion and the international champion. So
and is carrying, kind of the legacy of greatest tournament wrestler.
Right. Right. And Takeshita is the current IWGP World Heavyweight Champion and won the G1 that made Okada the greatest tournament wrestler of all time this year. So this is really an unprecedented level of prestige in this match.
It's a main event anywhere in the world. And it was the first match on the show.
Right. Mm-hmm. I would have bought a pay-per-view for this match.
I think we all were thinking we were buying a pay-per-view for that match,
Yeah.
And we were just in a different placement.
Right. And I think, this match went about 17 and a half minutes. It was a fucking great match that ended in an extraordinarily unexpected and unscrupulously
fucky.
Yeah, it was a very fucky finish. And, the C2 up to this point had been perfectly clean the entire time. But Kazuchika Okada retrieves a screwdriver from one of the turnbuckle pole straps and stabs Okada with it and pins him. Very unsatisfying ending, but
how perfect though that the first time there's any cheating in the C2, like really at all, comes at the hands of the greatest tournament wrestler alive. The one guy that shouldn't be cheating.
and someone who doesn't normally cheat to that extent, like Okada's been in this heel run, like he'll do a tight pull, he'll do some feet on the ropes or something, but he hasn't fucking stabbed a man with a screwdriver yet.
Right. Those are like normal cheating things, wrestling cheating.
Mm-hmm. And I think, they're telling a story here, a lot of stories. And after we talk about the next match, we'll kind of bring it back to this because I think there's a broader narrative going on here. The Don Callis family, they're going to be a bit of a mess, I have a suspicion, because there's a broader story being told. And with Takeshita and Okada both having the biggest matches at Wrestle Kingdom next weekend, it could spill over even more. Brett, you thought the match didn't really live up to the hype.
No, but like we were kind of talking about before and how you had said, I agree. I think that was kind of by design.
Right.
I think, because I don't think this, obviously this isn't the end of these two. And I think we're going to get, Takeshita Okada 2. And I would love for it to go to Takeshita Okada 3. And so I think it was by design, but yeah, I think for the and I think a lot of us might have done this, and it might have explained a little bit of the crowd being like dead and a little bit after. Is I don't think any of us thought, I think we all had assumed this match was going to be match of the night. You know what I mean? Because we have been waiting for so long. Probably close to a year. They have been teasing Okada and Takeshita having a match, and then they finally have the match, and it's a great fucking match. But it's not the best match those two are going to put on together.
Right. And Tony Khan's edging us is what he's doing right now. Mm-hmm. And frankly, sir, I don't appreciate it. The first time that this match was ever teased was before Wrestle Dream 2024.
It's always edgiest before the peg.
Right. That's true. So I remember thinking this match might happen at Wrestle Dream 2024, which I was at, and they teased a confrontation between the two of them before that. And yes, thank you, Brett. Thank you for demonstrating the edge before the peg. I really do appreciate that visual example that no one can see.
This is why we need to live stream.
This is why we need the live stream. So I thought it was a great match. I thought there was some big, the crowd was very into it. And then, yeah, I agree. I think the ending left people feeling a little flat, which was, again, by design. And again, pointing out that, hey, Okada, you're the greatest tournament wrestler of all time. You always treat this guy like he's your young boy, but you needed a screwdriver to beat him. And also Don Callis just walking off and pretending he didn't see it, which was great. You didn't hear this because Callis was on commentary going, what just happened? What happened?
Oh, okay.
He's pretending like he couldn't see for an entire 45-second period.
That's
of time.
Awesome.
Well, Degree gave it away, but after the match, they did make sure to show that Okada threw the screwdriver under, just kind of nonchalantly throws it back under the ring rather than putting it back.
Oh, I didn't notice him doing that.
Right. So we go to the next match, and they're just doing the semifinals just like bing, bang, boom.
Which was cool.
So this is a very interesting proposition. I will freely admit that Jon Moxley making it this far wasn't on my bingo card from the beginning.
Wasn't on mine either, and he's my favorite wrestler.
No.
I wasn't super excited, to be honest. I was like, wow, I really thought there could be other people in this spot. This match ended up being fucking great.
It's my match of the year. It bumped Bandito and Takeshita. It's my match of the year. Just not just strictly because of the wrestling in it, but just what happened in that match is the beauty of a well-told pro wrestling story in the ring. In the ring, right? You had Jon Moxley going into this match as a heel, he had been other than the matches in the C2, the whole year he's basically been cheating to win. He's been, when he's had his number called, he either gets the Death Riders in on it or he pulls something fucky to get the win, which has kind of gone against everything Moxley has been about in AEW, which is, you may win, you may lose, but as long as you go out there and you just fucking pour your heart and soul into it, it doesn't matter because you'll always fight again. You know, and he had been steered away from that for an entire year. And so he goes into this match, and what really fucking got me was, and someone in our chat had said it too, is like, at the start of this match, the crowd is chanting, like, you know, for John to tap to Fletcher. And by the end of it, they are fully on Mox's side, and they want Mox to fucking destroy that little twink, you know, just fucking destroy Fletcher. And he fucking got the win. I was pacing the goddamn living room by the end of that match.
Well, and they did the thing where everybody kicked out of everybody's shit.
Yeah.
You know, they finisher, you know, Mox did the short arm kind of Death Rider, and then he did the big one, and Fletcher kicked out of both.
Well, you know what I think helped a lot is how Fletcher started that match. Because he basically pulled the super heel move of, I'm not even going to get in the ring. I'm just going to keep fucking rolling to the outside, getting back behind the ropes. I'm not even going to let you touch me. And that really got the crowd against him, which I think helped a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which shows how smart he is as a wrestler.
Mox essentially is Steve Austin in 1997 with Bret Hart in the I Quit match, where he turns babyface over the course of a match.
It's Hogan and Rock at Mania 18.
Yes.
Well, and it's even, I mean, to your point about Fletcher just knowing what to do, knowing how to control the crowd. When he came out to a pretty big pop. And I'm like, oh shit, okay, people are behind. Like, we all like this guy. And, you know, to your point, very quickly realizes, okay, I gotta get people booing me. I got to get people against me right away. And the finish of the previous match certainly helped with that too, but
sure.
Yeah.
Well, so I think, and also they made sure to mention that Don Callis was not out there for Kyle's match. So Don wasn't on commentary, and they made sure to point out that he was supposed to be, which I thought was a nice touch.
That's what's cool, is that we're going to end up getting a 3-way split. Like, the schism in the Callis family isn't just going to be 2 ways. It's going to be bigger now, and that's cool.
I just wanted to add too, with Kyle's instincts and everything, like, because nowadays it's tough to just be a heel. You know what I mean? Ever since the Attitude Era, wrestling fans, there's a lot of us who we like a cool bad guy. You know what I mean? And Kyle Fletcher is a cool bad guy. He's an amazing fucking wrestler. So you want to root for him. And what he does so well is he does it every fucking week. He comes out and I'm like, fuck yeah, Kyle Fletcher. I fucking love this guy. He's like one of my new favorite fucking wrestlers. And by like 2 minutes into the match, I'm like, oh, this little shit, they better fucking, whoever he's wrestling, I want to destroy him. You know what I mean? He's just so good at that.
He is very, very good. And he has had a banner year. We talked about that on the normal edition of Sit Down, Shut Up, Mark Out with Justin.
Breakout wrestler of the year in Sports Illustrated.
Well, and really just like pretty much impossible not to say that about the guy. Like, incredible year. And really, he should be in your consideration for Wrestler of the Year. Mine is Bandito. I understand if people have other opinions, but Jesus Christ, this guy is right there.
Mine was Bandito, but like the more I thought about it, it's Fletcher. Fletcher is my Wrestler of the Year.
Well, and so we get this great match. These guys are, you know, putting each other through the ringer. Fletcher's kicking out of everything. Mox, you know, doing his part to put him over while also calling on the crowd to help him kind of come back, you know, and showing so much heart.
Dude, when he was in, like, I think Fletcher had him in some sort of leg, something or other, and he's just shaking his arms and he's like grabbing for the ropes, and it's like, I mean, it was just so, you could not help but get into that, like, get behind that guy.
I don't know if you know this yet, Degree, because you were there live, and I don't know if you would have noticed it, but so Fletcher's working on Mox's leg the whole match, right? And he gets Mox in the steps, He's got his leg in the steps, does a little drop kick to the steps.
When he chipped his tooth?
Yeah, so he pulls and I think that's when it happened, because he pulls the steps back to let John out. And when John falls to the ground, I noticed him like real quick grab his mouth and start like looking at his mouth. And then later in the match, you realize, oh shit, did he lose or chip a tooth? Oh my God.
Yeah. And he has to sell his ankle.
Yeah. And he's got to sell the ankle.
But so and this is great, is because and we'll bring it up later, but this plays into his match later, is Kyle really fucked up his ankle. And even after Mox wins, Kyle attacks him after and goes back at the leg.
Right. And that's where, again, so I had my predictions for these two semifinals. Both were wrong. But then when Mox is all fucked up, I'm like, oh, well, it's going to make him sympathetic and he'll lose. We'll get to, I mean, I'm sure that everyone knows the results. I'm not spoiling anything. And so again, I'm like, okay, round one was wrong. I got my second round of predictions. Well, guess what? That one was wrong fucking too.
I was wrong about everything but the main event. Well, no, I was wrong. I was right about two things.
I was right about Okada and Takeshita.
My booking in the end was in my brain. I'm like, okay, it's going to end up being Takeshita versus Fletcher. Fletcher's going to beat Takeshita, and now he's got to win over the IWGP champ, and he's got the Continental belt. And, you know, and I'm like, got this fucking map of like with the little red string and everything, and my conspiratorial.
Mine was essentially the same, except replaced the Don Callis family member. I had Fletcher beating Okada, and that putting the three-way rift.
It would have worked either way.
Yep.
When Takeshita and Okada wasn't a final, I started to get the feeling that Okada would win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but
same.
I thought that also would mean that Okada would win the tournament. I started to think Okada was going to win the tournament.
Well, I thought Okada would end up. I thought if it wasn't going to be Fletcher, it would be Okada to set up something with Kenny down the road.
Yeah, well, and there would still be the issue with Takeshita, and so and there obviously still is an issue with Takeshita. So
it's like you have it booked every single possible way you could ever imagine, except Moxley winning, and then he did.
And this is what I love about AEW. This is what I've loved about AEW this year is like I've been legit like for the past maybe like 4 or 5 years, like I've been able to go into wrestling shows and feel very confident that I know what the hell is going to happen. And this year in AEW, I'm just like, oh shit, I was not expecting that. And I don't hate that. I like this, you know?
No, well, that's the thing is like, I always, you know, when something bizarre happens, I ask myself, well, okay, well, why did they do this? Like, don't look at it like, oh, the thing I wanted to happen didn't happen. Look at why they did it. And with AEW, it always makes sense. It always adds up, and there's always a logic to it. Whether or not you agree with it or like it is different, but there's always a story that makes sense, and this did as well. And we're only 2 matches deep.
The match ends with Fletcher desperately searching for this screwdriver that he suspects is there, and it's the screwdriver that Okada used on Takeshita and didn't put back. And so that's directly leads to the finish, because as Fletcher is trying to find this fucking screwdriver, Moxley pulls him down in a choke, and Fletcher ends up losing by a submission essentially, but he didn't tap. Technical submission in 22 minutes. The crowd is very much on Moxley's side. The finals of the C2 is going to be Okada and Jon Moxley later in the show. And essentially the story that they painted here is that Okada screwed Takeshita and Fletcher and kind of sold his soul and he tainted the entire point of the C2 to get to the final. And if he's who he says he is, which he's clearly not, or he feels some major insecurity about, he wouldn't have done any of this.
That fucking dovetails so nicely with what Brett was saying about Mox and the whole, like, you've got to bring it to the forefront. You got to bring all your, you know, he's trying to change AEW by showing them what they can really be. And then this motherfucker goes and does that. Really? What? Okada? Come on. Like, that was cool. I don't know. Cool parallel.
Yes. And I was perfectly fine with all the results to this point. I really was. Like, I thought it was a great two great matches. Okada and Takeshita will be better when they do it. But I think what they're doing is making this a bigger match when it's just for between those two to settle some shit, Okay, so moving on, we have FTR with Stokely versus the Bang Bang Game, that being Juice Robinson and Austin Gunn, in a Chicago street fight for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. As we know with AEW pay-per-views, picking bathroom breaks, picking times to go get your food from the DoorDash guy, which is what I was doing, and the guy was lost. And so he was driving all over the place except for where I was. And I'm that guy in an apartment. I ordered a Little Caesars pizza. But I'm that guy in an apartment who actually comes out to meet the guy, doesn't make him try to figure out my door code and all that shit. So I'm out there standing there waiting. I'm like on the phone trying to instruct this guy where to go. He's just hopelessly lost. So I missed a good chunk of this match. So I'm going to throw it to both of you. Brett, talk about this match a little bit.
Well, I just loved that Austin Gunn came out looking like Donatello with a trash can lid and a kendo stick on his back. I fucking popped so hard for that. Obviously, Bang Bang Gang, best fucking entrance in the game. This match did not go how I thought it would go, even though thinking about it now, I don't know why I thought the Bang Bang Gang was going to win, because I feel like they're clearly probably going to end up keeping the belts on FTR for a Cope and Christian match down the road, which I don't need them to be tag team champions.
Agreed.
Cope and Christian. I really hope if that match does happen, which I think it will, that they put over FTR because love him or hate him, FTR really is one of the greatest tag teams of all time, in my opinion.
Agreed.
It was a fun match. It was a lot of fun. Nobody could hit a table right.
No.
At all. There was a spot where I think it was Cash goes to dive out of the ring to they got the table set up on the on the barricade, right? Like kind of leaning against the barricade. And he goes out to take out one of the Bang Bang Gang members, misses him, puts himself through the table, and Austin Gunn has to kind of like fall backwards and pretend he gets hit through it. And then later, Stokely's on the apron, and they got a table like on the ground, and they knock Stokely up the apron, and he completely misses the fucking.
He slid.
He kind of hits it, and he just slides off of it. Like Jesus fucking Christ!
I saw a clip of that later. Yeah.
I mean, there's not much to say technically. I mean, it was a great match, and there was the finish was great, man. By the end of this match, I had no idea who was going to win. There was a lot of good false finishes. And one thing that I love AEW does is for a long time in wrestling, when you would get the big false finish, there would be, and this is why I don't agree with when MVP, who I respect greatly, I don't agree when he says there's too many false finishes in matches, because I think it gets too predictable when you have like the one big false finish and then it's like, okay, well, they're not going to win the match now. This match legitimately had about 4 or 5 pinfalls where I thought that could have been it right there. But in the end, FTR pile drives the shit out of, I think it was Juice, like 3 times, and they get the pinfall for the win. Juice ends the match looking like he had been just plastered with tomato sauce, which was still beautiful. Yeah, degree.
My only bit of feedback for anything is I'm literally walking through the front door, finally with triumphant with my pizza. And they're like, okay, and FTR wins. And I'm like, God damn it. I missed an entire match.
What did you eat at the arena?
Well, yeah. What did I eat at the arena, or what did he eat?
Yeah. Well, we're talking about food.
I just had popcorn at the arena. We just had popcorn and water. Before we went to this barbecue place that was really good. Yeah. Water. I know. Crazy.
You didn't even get like a lemonade?
it would be like $40 for a fucking lemonade. No, we're just healthy. We're drinking water. All right. I don't have anything to add. I mean, everything you said, I'm totally in agreement with, including all the false finishes and whatnot. I wasn't surprised by the finish. The match opened and Juice and Dax went into the crowd, so I totally couldn't see them. And then Cash and Austin went up the ramp, and I totally couldn't see them. So for like the first 5 minutes, I was just like, there was not even a match. Yeah, I mean, it was a good match. There's like nothing I can add to it. I don't know.
It was a plunder match, you know? It's kind of one of those ones that's it's all over the place, you know? I did love when Juice just started going to town with a chair at the end. One thing I want to say though is the fire extinguisher. Why was the hose so comically large? Like fire extinguisher hoses normally don't have that big fucking thing on the end of them anymore. You know, it's just like a little hose. But this thing was like a goddamn bazooka.
Dude, he hit that and there was like smoke or whatever that is, like just so much of it. And I turned and I looked at my son and I was like, that is exactly how a fire extinguisher works in real life. Like, not even fucking close. Oh, yeah. Those always crack me up. But yeah, it was just a fun match. Like, I don't have anything.
Yeah, it was a really fun one.
My world or anything. I assumed Switchblade was coming back, or maybe the other gun, Colton or whatever.
Yeah, well, that's a kind of a thing. Is I think a lot of us had some ideas of people who could be returning on this show, and we didn't have any big returns except for Ortiz in the pre-show. But
cool. It was cool, except for when the guy next to me was like, "Who's that?" And I was like. And I mean, I think it makes sense though, because the Gun Club lose, and then they're like, you know, we got to get our buddies, and then they bring them back, band, you know. So
the Gun Club,
and you know, I want to add something. This is probably the right time to do it. This is a message for a lot of wrestling fans, but it is specifically for the man who was seated in section 118, row 17, probably seat. I think it was like seat 7. You were wearing a belt. Why don't you fucking tighten it so that I don't have to look at your whole entire ass every time you stand up to cheer? Thank you. Whoever you are, if you're listening to this show, it was fucking disgusting.
It wasn't even a seated crack.
It wasn't even a crack. Every time he stood up, this guy, his entire ass was showing. And like he would like
underwear for cheeks.
No, his whole fucking ass, his cheeks. And it was like, dude, number one, you have a belt on. This has happened 4 times already. Just goddamn, dude, grab your fucking drawers before you stand up. So if you're a wrestling fan,
that's a good PSA. That's called pulling a Nana. So because we have had a few occurrences with Prince Nana where his whole ass falls out of his pants.
Yeah,
but
yeah. At least he's on my television and not sitting right in front of me. It's because
most of you boys don't wear your pants where they're supposed to be worn.
Right. You don't wear pants on your waist. You wear them on their hip.
Yeah. A lot of dudes don't understand where their waist is. And I think that's a big
problem. Yeah. Because if you look at like guys from the 50s, it looks like they're pulling their pants up to their tits and shit. And it's like,
but no, it's just at their waist.
This has been extremely educational. Thank you both.
I usually wear higher waist pants, though. You know, I'm a high waist.
Are you a high water? Like you know? Like
no, I do a cuff usually at the bottom, though.
You do a cuff at the bottom. Okay, and you're taller, so
I am. I'm 5'11". I'm an Amazonian.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's your thing,
you're a Slamazon.
Hit me up.
Hey, all right.
I'm single and not even ready to mingle. Don't hit me up, please.
Don't hit Brett up. Don't hit Brett up. So
I'll ignore it.
Right.
What was the next match?
It was the Babes of Wrath defending the AEW Women's World Tag Team Championship versus Mercedes Moné and Athena. Now, I was excited for this, and what I really enjoyed was
Athena shooting out like a rocket. Jesus.
Well, and Athena also coming out first, then Mercedes music hits, and Mercedes is acting like a delusional freak. during her entrance. And I loved Athena just being like, okay, you are a lot right now. You are just a lot right now. I said that it got zero traction in our Discord chat, but I said Athena is like the designated driver for Mercedes delusion tonight.
Athena was the Blade Daily to my Mercedes Monet.
Yes, yes, exactly. So Athena did a great
crazy bitch.
Yeah, and Athena's usually kind of in the crazy bitch role with her minions, but she's almost like playing the minion role to Mercedes in this match. Babes of Wrath come out. What did you think was going to happen at the beginning of this match?
I thought Babes of Wrath were going to win.
I did too.
Yeah, I did too.
I thought there's no fucking way they're gonna screw these two out of the titles already.
Not that quick. No.
Especially because the story they're telling right now is the crash out of Mercedes too.
Right.
But I did like the psychology of the match though, because they really did play into Mercedes' selfishness. Kind of was a big contributing factor to the loss, because Harley and Willow are now an established team. They work well together, and Mercedes really just wanted this win for herself and not for her team.
Yes, and I thought that Mercedes, and this is where the basicness, is that a word? Basicness of a lot of wrestling fans starts to really stand out. Mercedes is overcompensating, okay? She's filling herself up full of bullshit because she is actually deeply insecure about herself right now, okay? Because she keeps losing. And she cost her team the win due to this drastic overcompensation. So she's acting like, hey, nobody can fucking touch me. And Athena's like, no, you're quite touchable, actually. Great match, fun match. I thought Harley Cameron did started moving a little too fast a few times for her. She missed a few things because she was just maybe a little too eager. And that is not a huge diss or anything. Like,
just
for
growing
the level
pains.
Exactly.
I mean, she's great.
Yeah, for the level of experience she actually has, for her to be functioning at the level she does is incredible.
She's come so far, and it's so rad to see, because I think she's someone who's going to be a standout for a long time, and I think she's only going to keep getting better and better.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah,
agree.
There were a few moments, like you said, where something was a little bit off, but it never looked like she's the weak link and these other three amazing talents are covering for her. It never looked like that. She looked like she could hang with them. Like, it was cool. The whole match for me felt like the whole vibe I kept getting was like, this is, when like you see like a picture of like Lex Luger holding the WWF title, and they're like, we just wanted to see what crowd reaction would be. Like, this whole thing was, what do you guys think about Willow getting this belt from her? Because that's just the whole thing I saw. Just Willow. You like Willow, don't you? We like Willow too. Willow's probably going to get a big fucking push pretty soon. She's already getting a big push, Right. But it was like, possibly test marketing, kind of the idea of Willow. Felt like,
taking the belt back.
It was a fun match. Super good.
Well, because she lost the TBS title to Mercedes. So I think that, so that's, that there would be some poetic finality to that. But basically, Willow wins with this really fucking dope roll up that I've never seen her do anything like this before. And I've never even seen this roll up before. But that's the type of shit you learn in wrestling school or something that you never use. This was a really cool finish to the match. Mercedes just got caught. And boy, was this woman pissed. And Athena is no longer the DD anymore. She is not the designated driver. She is scowling at Mercedes like, you fucking dick. You fucking ruined this whole night. Fuck you. So good. Mercedes' reaction to losing was so great.
And then there was later on.
Yeah, and I don't remember where that happened exactly, so we'll just talk about it now.
Mercedes' crash out segment was essentially me during the entire Charger game yesterday.
Yeah, that was me with this DoorDash that I was waiting for. That was essentially me. So Lexi Nair is backstage, and she is trying to get a word with Mercedes, who just kind of pushes past her and goes in this room, but leaves the door conveniently cracked. You see in her dressing room, she has a giant neon M, which I thought was like, that is a douche-ass move to have in your dressing room. You're just, her name is Mercedes Moné, so M really works for her. But she freaks the fuck out. She goes on this terror spree of just crushing shit in her room and tells Willow basically, and then finally comes out and tries to calm herself down for a minute. And she goes, Willow, you think you're so great. I'm going to take you on at Dynamite this Wednesday because I'm Mercedes fucking Moné. No censorship. Loved it.
No. She said, I'm gonna beat your fucking ass.
That's what she said. Yeah. Yes, you're right. 100%. Okay, I'm old and wrong.
Where we were sitting, we couldn't see the monitors, so all we did was hear it, and everybody's just like, "Holy shit! Oh my god!"
It was
a shocker.
It was so awesome, and I gotta say, Books and Body Slams in our Discord chat said this. Sasha Banks is dead. This lady has completely reanimated herself. Just like you look at Jon Moxley, do you ever think of Dean Ambrose? I never do.
Different person.
Only for the sake of this comparison. Same thing is happening with Mercedes and Sasha. I don't even remember Sasha Banks that well. Right. And I don't want to.
I loved her theme song though, man.
She had a great theme song. I will...
Yeah, it was
except
great
where they did that Snoop Dogg remix.
I think he had something to do with it at some point, but
that's her cousin.
I know, but it sucked.
Yeah,
but the original theme was actually really great.
Super
but
good.
yes, great pro wrestling entrance music. But that's about it.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, I'm stoked to see where Mercedes goes from here. Things are just continuing to escalate. I don't want Willow to beat her this Wednesday because she's already the tag team champion. They got to stop having champions fighting each other constantly and holding more than one belt constantly. I don't
mind it with singles belts when you have that many singles belts, but if you're a tag champ, you don't need to be a singles person. You should focus on your tag, one or the other.
I agree.
But not for any great length of time in my
that was a
taste.
minor gripe I had with Bandito being the ROH champion and the AEW tag champ too. Minor gripe.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
Okay, well, Babes of Wrath win as expected. Then there was a match, and it was not a hardcore match. It was not announced as a no disqualification match. I thought this was an interesting match when it was made, because with the two people involved, you would kind of figure this would be pretty brutal. And as it turns out, you can do that in just a regular singles match.
Yeah.
We had Darby Allin versus Gabe Kidd. First things first, Gabe Kidd has gotten his body really together. This dude's looking more shredded than I've ever seen him. He looks more put together than I've ever seen him. Just as a total package, I'm like, what is this guy's future in New Japan? Because I feel like he's preparing to be an AEW guy.
His entrance felt cool. That just saying that it was put together the way he, in the promos he was doing with Darby leading up to it, and the way I'm neither here nor there on Gabe Kidd. I like him, but I don't know enough about him to really form a strong opinion. But last night,
I think he's great.
Okay, I'm gonna start forming an
opinion.
Yeah, because that match with Kenny was super, super good. That was the first time I ever really saw him. I've only heard of him, and I've mostly just heard people bitch about him,
which I've never understood. I think
I don't get it.
And this is one thing I think.
I guess I don't know what they're complaining about.
This is one thing I think that some wrestling fans have a problem with is understanding that just because a character's a piece of shit on screen doesn't mean that they're a piece of shit in real life. I know a lot of people oh, I don't like Gabe Kidd. He's a fucking douchebag. I get. I mean, as a fan,
he's
you're supposed to not like the guy.
Though.
Yeah, but I think people that's the thing with wrestling is I think some people aren't able to just hate the character. They take it a little too far and they think it's the actual human beings, like how they are as a person. It's like, oh, you're overlooking a great talent just because you're assuming this is how that person is in real life.
Right.
And you're not hating them. You're not hating them how you should as a fan of wrestling. You're just hating them as a human being, which is not cool, you know?
Yeah, I think Gabe Kidd, I will be honest, I didn't love his act that much until I saw the match with Kenny last year, and it was so good. But that was also the match where Gabe showed me this is a work. Because I honestly, he plays it so real that it's kind of hard to tell. I think for some people, it's kind of triggering. Like people like Gabe Kidd.
That's the impression
he's kind of, he feels like the kind of guy who would mug you and maybe like worse, almost.
That's just good acting.
But it's good acting. It is good acting. And
that's what I love in a wrestler. I love when you're able to suspend that disbelief. It's just when the show's over, like, don't think that when he walks out of their arena, he's actually like knifing someone in a parking lot, you know?
Yeah.
Because he doesn't do wrestler crazy. He does, oh, that's that dude I used to fucking buy drugs from, and he's fucking, I don't want to be left alone with him.
Right.
Which is what I love about him is he's so convincing, and he reminds me a lot, like his character, like the type of wrestler he is reminds me a lot of, like, I see a lot of Mox in him. You know what I mean? Kind of that, like, I just don't give a fuck. I am an animal. And I love that. I am such a fan of the, like, I am just, like, there's my two favorite types of wrestlers are the shit heels, like when Jack Perry was the scapegoat, and someone like a Gabe Kidd who is just, I'm a fucking monster. I am an animal. When I walk through that end for my entrance, everything in my life is gone, and the only thing I care about is ripping you to fucking pieces.
He's very convincing. Yep. Very convincing.
So before the match, I had because the bathrooms were right by us, so I'm like, I gotta go to the bathroom. So I ran to go to the bathroom, and like I complained about the crowd not being super, super loud all night, but like, dude, people like Darby Allin because I'm walking out and you can it's just like this fucking low roar, and you hear the fucking, and like the way the place was, like you could hear the music through the whole arena anyway, you know what I mean? Like, so you're coming out of the bathroom and fucking Darby's music is blasting by the time I walk back in, and everybody's just like, it was a good feeling. The vibe. Like
I'm almost a little shocked at,
so
like,
powerful.
how over Darby is now. You know?
He really is.
Like, because I've always liked Darby, but like I never saw him as being like a top guy. You know what I mean? And like I don't mean that disrespectfully. You know, and maybe it
like
was
an
just
attraction.
like, yeah, I always saw him as like, well, he's just the dude who's gonna like throw himself off fucking anything. But he has really endeared himself to the audience, and like. To me, he's one of the top guys in the company now. He's like you book shows around him now. Like, and I love to see it, you know, because he is someone who, like, I mean, love him or hate him as a character or whatever, like the shit he is willing to put himself through just to put on a good show is crazy. Like, I would never like prefer him to do that, obviously, because you hope he's around for a long time, but he just doesn't give a shit, and he's like, I'm just gonna do what I need to do to fucking put on a good show and send the audience home happy and like they saw something nuts.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know how many times I looked at my son and I was like, God, they're fucking hitting each other for real.
Yeah. Well, and
that was my takeaway.
When they showed the depth to which Darby had bladed, I was not surprised because it had been so brutal. And I was like, I would not have been shocked if that was a hard way bleeding, you know, because like
Gabe too, Jesus.
Well,
dude,
in the end, they just
blood all over his chest and shit.
Well, and in the end, they both bled buckets, but like Gabe kicked the shit out of Darby. Like Darby bumped like a motherfucker for him. And
Darby's spine, I think, has to be made of adamantium.
Yeah. And I mean, these guys are what I realized right at the beginning of this match is I'm like, these guys are perfect for each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah,
Darby's one of those. He should be Gabe's one of those. Like, he should be a lifelong rival for Darby. Like, like one of those rivalries like Okada and Takeshita, where you put them together, you know something crazy is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Some kind of magic is going to happen. And I thought this match was great. You know, they beat the living shit out of each other. They both bled buckets. Gabe looked legit as fuck, and Darby just barely escaped, barely got the win. I don't think it really hurt Gabe at all. Gabe looked like a fucking murderer after this match, and Darby looked like he could fucking barely walk.
Well, he snuck the win too. You know, it was because Gabe hit him with that pile driver, and he kind of just had that quick little fucking whatever pin to sneak out with the victory. Which, I mean, like you said, it doesn't hurt Gabe at all. I think the biggest takeaway from this match is if you have short bleach blonde hair like Darby and you get enough blood in it, you just look like a ginger.
True.
So he was just being bullied by the guy for being a ginger.
And it wasn't the longest match ever either. It was less than 13 minutes, and it didn't need to be. It was such a great spectacle of a match that I thought, hey, you know, this was perfect length. You know, I thought Gabe might actually get the win because he has been so, you know, ubiquitous with New Japan. It's almost Wrestle Kingdom time. I thought maybe Darby's injured. You know, they've put that in there, but I thought the way Darby won didn't hurt Gabe at all.
No, not at all.
I got this one right. So I have a question. Is Gabe a Death Rider, like full on, or what? Because he's not always with them, but he was definitely wearing a Death Rider hoodie the other night. And I just want to, is he just like a full on member of the Death Riders?
All of his gear was not, I didn't see any New Japan logos. I didn't see any War Dog stuff at all.
Right.
And I had said in the chat, like, do we think he's like all elite at this point? Because like, it feels like they've been building up to that. Mm-hmm. You know, he's been the most consistent.
Because he has had like run-ins and stuff, but now he's being booked on shows. Like what was the last pay-per-view he was on? Forbidden Door. Right. Didn't he wrestle it All In too?
He might have. I don't remember. He was involved in the finish.
Guts, maybe.
He was in a trios match at All In. I think
the first match, because he was a member of the Death Riders in the first match. Because I remember, I thought he came out looking cool as fuck in the entrance for that too.
Remember he was like screaming backstage, and then Claudio's like, "No, this way. You got to go."
And
this
then
way.
he was like crawling and shit. Like,
yeah.
Oh yeah,
he got almost a little too excited. Yeah, that was great.
I mean, so far, like I said, I've probably only seen 3 matches or whatever, but he's cool so far.
So getting into the next match, the Mixed Nuts Mayhem match. Now, this match at a glance felt very random,
very thrown together,
and it felt like a 0-hour match. Quite honestly, you know, even though the people involved are, you know, big names in the company, it just didn't feel significant. And boy, was I wrong about that, because this was legitimately one of my favorite matches of the night. It was so much fun. Timeless Tony Storm, Roderick Strong, Mark Briscoe, and Orange Cassidy, you know, spoiler, defeated the Death Riders, Claudio Castagnoli, Daniel Garcia, Wheeler Yuta, and Marina Shafir by pin. This match was so much fun. Degree, why don't you kind of weigh in on the live perspective?
So Tony Storm got a fucking massive pop. Like, she was one of the few people that really got like the hero's welcome. This, I'm in agreement. This was one of my favorite matches of the whole night, and this is one of those points where I know, like, we all like to clap our hands and chant, "This is wrestling," and we do it for these technical masterpieces. But this was wrestling. The the shit with the hands in the dude, when Marina did the fucking hands in the pockets, that was
in the back
like,
pockets. Yeah.
Totally did not expect that from her, but she said, fuck you. I can do this fucking pocket bullshit, you know? The ballroom dancing stuff was like, this is wrestling. That, like, the showmanship of it. When Marina and Roddy squared off, I don't want to just keep giving everything away because I don't know what you guys want to talk about.
Go ahead.
I just I just had the biggest smile. And I like the hardcore shit, and I like the Moxley and the Gabe Kidd and the Darby Allin, everything. I love, you guys know I love like Zack Sabre Jr., but like, I love it when wrestling can be like this
when it's silly,
it's campy, and it is a show, and you fucking call it sports entertainment all day long. Well, this is me being sports entertained. Like that
100%.
shit was so fun. And those characters are the people. We've talked about Orange Cassidy a lot as being like the gateway drug. He's the guy my wife loves because she doesn't like wrestling, but she sees him and that gets her, she sees it on a different level. And it was like all your favorites. Mark Briscoe was out there.
Tony Storm.
Tony Storm. But I mean, Wheeler Yuta's our favorite asshole. I mean, he got the loudest fuck you Wheeler and all that shit. But that's what we love about him. All the characters. Tony Storm getting the fucking
the tango.
The Claudio gave it the big swing. Yeah, like that.
That was great.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Somebody said this online, and it was not me. And but whoever they are, you're awesome. They were like, okay, after the mixed nuts match, let's just make the trios belts intergender. And I was like, yep,
I agree with that.
That's fucking
I agree with that.
And this match felt like that to me too. Like, I'm like, you're just testing the waters, you know, like they did all these things where it's like the bad guys would almost punch a girl, but then they couldn't. And the good guys would never punch a girl.
I've got your first intergender trios champions. And that for me would be Jet Speed and Willow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Let's not put all the belts on Willow at once.
Yeah,
though.
that's true.
Let's give it some space.
I loved Roddy and Marina face to face. And Roddy, you could tell he's kind of got that like, hey. And Marina just starts kicking him.
Kicked him right in the face. And then she turns around and he slaps her super hard in the back. Oh, and Tony German suplexing Yuta and Daniel Garcia.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so much. And then, she like fucking hit the, what is that? They call it, it's the ass smasher is what I call it. But, people call it a hip attack or whatever. She hits that on Wheeler Yuta. It was so much chaos and fun. Tony, taking the big swing from Claudio was awesome.
I could have done without Shivani saying, "Hike 'em up, girl," when Tony pulled her tights up to do the ass smasher.
Yeah. But I just thought, and then this match introduced me to a genre I didn't know existed, but now it's one of my favorites, which is tango wrestling.
Right?
I enjoy it. So Orange Cassidy and Tony are basically the male and female equivalents of each other in AEW. They are the casual fan introduction point to AEW.
And now they might be in a throuple with Mina Shirakawa,
Well, and I loved Orange Cassidy getting like play jealous of Mina when she came out and he like jumped into Tony's arms, and that was so much fucking fun. But when they were doing the tango spots, like, I mean, that was so much.
It was a blast.
Goofy shit. Awesome fun. This is one of those moments where AEW shows you how much they understand wrestling, just on a fundamental level, all aspects of it.
And this is what I always say, I think is what makes an AEW pay-per-view or just any show from AEW so good is because no matter what type of wrestling fan you are, there will be something on the card for you. You're gonna get a crazy fucking blood and guts match. You're gonna get a technical masterpiece, a few of them, and you're going to get a fun as fuck match. And it's not how some other companies do it, where everything is just an over the top, trying to be this big dramatic episode of fucking CSI or Severance or something. Like, whatever you like as a fan of wrestling, because there are so many different styles of pro wrestling, there is something for you on an AEW card.
And it paces the card out nicely too when you go from this fucking brutal Gabe Kidd Darby Allin thing, and then the next thing you do is this goofball shit. Like, it kind of like allows your emotions to regulate sort of as you're watching.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yes, it ends when Wheeler Yuta gets fucking the Jay Driller into non-existence, and very feel good match, super fun. So from there, we go to the women's world title match between Chris Statlander and Jamie Hayter. This is one of my favorite matches of the night on a pure wrestling level. I thought
same.
These two are also perfect rivals, I think.
Yeah.
I would love it if Jamie turned heel, quite honestly, and had a longer rivalry with Stat, because these two are just made to beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
They're great.
Just fucking hard hitting.
Yeah.
Their styles together work fucking perfectly. Because someone had said in our chat is that Stat wrestles like a heavyweight, you know? She's not flippy. She's not, like flying 1,000 miles an hour all over the place. She's, I mean, I know we talk about, Hayter hits hard. So does fucking Stat. And that's what this match was. And that's why I was super looking forward to this match. I mean, I'm big, I love Stat, but I'm a huge Jamie Hayter fan, because I love, she's like fantastic, phenomenal aesthetic. I love the hot Donna look. But she's in the true vein of a British brawling wrestler. And, she's just going to take your fucking head off. She's a bruiser. And this match was big, and it was bruising. And I think the crowd let it down, because if the crowd would have been behind this match like they should have been, this, I think, is an all-time women's match.
Absolutely. And some of the spots were insane that these two took.
To shit off the top rope.
Yeah.
What is that? Blue Thunder Bomb or something? Kind of, I don't know what that's
cradle.
Called.
It's like a cradle Blue Thunder Bomb almost.
I don't know.
Between that and fucking the spot with Fletcher and Mox, I mean, I think some neck rubs are in the future of a few people from last night. Jesus Christ.
It looked like Hayter was very protected on the spot by a Stat. And with Mox and Fletcher, I was a little more worried on that one, because it looked like Fletcher really did land straight on his head. But Hayter,
it looked safe. It just was like,
it looked safe.
Holy
shit.
Did.
It was just a crazy spot.
Yeah.
But, really, it's just stiff, brutal wrestling. It was just great.
Imagine, like, you would always hear stories about, like, the Steiners liked wrestling certain people because they knew they liked to hit hard and they wanted to be hit hard back. And I feel like these ladies must have just been relieved to be in the ring with each other, to just like, I can just go full force and just knock the shit out of you, and you're going to give it back. It was really fun. And yeah, I agree. The crowd was too busy chanting "fuck Green Bay."
Yeah, what the fuck?
I don't know. But I resent when real sports fucking interfere with my fucking wrestling.
Yeah.
And
also, we don't give a shit about your fucking regional fucking
kept
dumb
coming back throughout the show. Like,
it started there,
times.
And then it came back the rest of the show.
Yeah, and that
pissed me off.
There was one dude wearing a Green Bay shirt, and I was kind of like, well, that guy's kind of cool, because he stood up and was like, fuck you all. But yeah, I'm like, did we lose to them, or I don't know. I don't know sports. And
who cares?
I don't like it.
Yeah, who cares?
That's my nitpick.
Yeah, I think, and with respect to...
I think it's because... Let me see. Sorry, give me a sec. Yeah, the Bears clinched the NFC North championship last night.
So the Bears beat Green Bay?
No, but they won their game.
Right. I've had people start Seahawks chants at fucking wrestling shows before. It just sucks.
I always feel like sometimes like ashamed to admit like how into football I am because it makes me feel douchey. But I don't know. I love.
No, you're a big fan. That's cool. That's cool.
This is why I love the C2 is because I look at people who like sports. And I'm envious of them because they have some sort of weird camaraderie thing. Not weird, but like there's a shared interest and a shared bond. And it's, I'm like, I kind of wish I had that. You know what I mean? Like, and I do have it with wrestling, and other things, but it's like, so whenever something like the C2 comes around, I'm like, oh, this is like sports. This is what, this is what I like. What is cool about sports.
This is the playoffs.
Yeah, and I
basically.
I was actually like, I had my little, because you guys have seen my little sheet, and I'm watching like Christmas Eve or whatever, and I'm writing down the scores. My wife's like, hold on. She's
what if they did fantasy football for the C2?
Yeah, they should. But my wife looks at me and she's just like, you're keeping score? Like what? And I'm like, no, you don't understand. It's the C2. And I think she stopped listening to me about halfway through my explanation. The winner of the one league fights the runner up of the other league. And like,
I forgot that part.
This is too confusing.
I know. I forgot that part. And
I did too.
What I didn't forget is that Chris Statlander gets a decisive win over Jamie Hayter. Beats her with the Saturday Night Fever. Jamie put her over strong, but didn't lose anything in doing so. I thought it was great. I think it will lead to maybe a harder edge to Hayter's character. And I think they've been building to this for a while. I thought it was a great match. I thought the crowd let it down significantly.
Which, as I had said to you guys earlier, is kind of, I've noticed that with Stat's run. And I don't understand why. I mean, I do, because as much as, our crew of people and our little group of good wrestling fans and people on threads, like we all love women's wrestling because we love fucking wrestling. It doesn't matter to us whether it's men or women. We just love fucking wrestling. But there's still so many casual fans who look at women's wrestling as the lesser of the binary sexes.
Yes, they do.
They see women's wrestling as not on the same level as men's wrestling. And so I'm certain that a lot of people are like, okay, well, this is when I'll go to the bathroom. This is when I'll, blah, 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 get ready for the main event, whatever. And it sucks because I do love that they've been, and I think it is because they're positioning it late on the card too, which sucks because I think they should be showcasing both world championship matches as the co-main events, because they are both the top of their divisions. And do better, wrestling fans.
That was something I had mentioned earlier before we were recording, where it's like the placement coming after that mixed nuts match. Maybe that affected how the crowd was looking at it. I don't know, because that match was so goofy. And then this was just wrestling, So
I think it's a combination of all of that.
Yeah, I think Statlander, Mercedes has the star aura from WWE, and then carried that over into AEW, and has only built more on top of that. Her being the international traveling champion as well has added to that. Toni Storm has that over the top gimmick, and I think Stat is kind of like massaging this like hard ass gimmick where she's like, you got to get to my fucking level and I'm there and you're not. And, it is just as simple, in a lot of ways as saying like, they need to keep working on it. It's very good. And I like the gimmick. I like the Cosmic Killer thing a lot. I like where she's gone with it. Her promos have been great, but I think it's either you stick with that and you give it more time, because I think that's what it really needs. And I think you need a legit rivalry that's personal, that doesn't just feel like it's for the title.
That is bringing up something that I've thought about with Stat. And like, don't get me wrong, I love Statlander, but it does kind of feel like I'm always kind of wondering, well, who is Chris Statlander? You know what I mean? Other than, just Chris Statlander. Like, what's her thing? She's kind of just there a little bit to me. Like, she doesn't have
kind
that
of an
thing
alien,
that makes
she's not
her
an alien.
Well, that's why, like Blade said, they got to kind of just run with something because it does feel like the identity of who Chris Statlander is kind of like, well, I don't really know yet, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because, well, and like all of her matches and her promos and everything is just like, you want to fight me? Okay, I'll fight you. I'm at this higher level. And that's cool, but yeah, it's just like, it's like all the pieces are there and they're almost finished cooking, but you got to leave it in the oven like 10 more minutes, you know? I don't know.
Well, and I think just explain more about who she is, where she comes from, you know, explain that she trained with MJF, explain that, you know, do all that stuff.
Did you see the scrum? Any of the scrum afterward?
No.
So I watched a little bit this morning. All I watched, and I never really watched those. All I really watched this morning was her interview. And you know, she just did like 3 or 4 questions, and I thought she came off really personable. I thought she seemed really likable. Like,
she's great.
I was just like, what? Like the stat that I saw in the scrum is the stat they should be trying to tap into or trying to work towards, because she's a teeny little bit flat. And if they could get that, because she seemed like in the scrum, it was like, oh, this is the real person. You're fucking cool. Like. So I don't know.
I've been trying really hard not to like shit on any wrestlers or anything, and I don't mean this to shit on Stat.
Well, yeah, I hope I didn't sound like I was.
No. I think what I'm about to say, I don't want to come across as too like harsh or anything, but I think, you know, kind of how I was saying with like a Gabe Kidd, like I believe Gabe Kidd, but when I get a promo from Stat, I don't believe it. I see someone acting. I don't feel like she fully buys the gimmick herself, right. Which like there's like a confidence that's not there.
Well, she's closer though. She's closer than she was.
She's definitely is.
Her thing about how my sob story is over and now I'm, you know, whatever. Like that's cool, but like I like that. Like, I like show that little bit of weakness. Give us that vulnerability. But yeah, like you said, it just feels like, and same thing. Like I'm not dogging anybody, dude, because if you're at the level you're at, you're fucking good. But
absolutely,
it feels like the little bit of like, okay, you came up with that catchphrase and you're gonna say that a lot, but like,
what does it mean?
I gotta feel it. Yeah. So again, but just stick with it. So, because I think she's awesome, you know.
And I think some of that is not her fault, you know. It's the writing around her has kind of been a little all over the place, you know. And
they haven't given her much to do.
I think the most I've loved Stat recently was when she refused to join the Death Riders. That I was into. Because she gave those big middle fingers in the crowd and everything. That I was like, yeah, fucking ace.
Because that told you something about who she is, right?
Right.
Is she chose Harley and their friendship and their, you know, and that tells you, okay, Stat's like, she's more about friendship and bonds. And like, this isn't the heartless chick who like turned on Willow a year ago. This is somebody who's like, you know, evaluated themselves and like done some deeper work. And I think that told you something about Statlander, and they need to keep doing that.
I think you're right.
You can't do that once and have it be over.
And that goes directly to what you were saying, as like, I think they're doing her a disservice by just giving her challengers, like you said. They need to give her a story. They need to give her something that she has to really overcome, or something that she can really sink her teeth into rivalry-wise, because doing just these quick, I'm your challenger, 3 weeks before the match, here we go, you know?
Yeah. Right. The other thing that needs to be done that doesn't have anything to do with Chris Statlander is Jamie Hayter needs, no offense, Mikey Ruckus, new fucking music, because her music does not fit her at all. Ever since you brought up her Strutter, I can't, like, her music doesn't sound as tough as she is.
Exactly.
And I wish it did.
I need her to have some fucking rock and roll.
Yeah. Yes. She needs to come out to something, I don't know, something with like just an edge to it, something that kicks your ass.
We can't do Strutter though, because fuck Kiss now, which sucks because I love Kiss.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Fuck Kiss. But you could do like Even if you did like Surrender or something by Cheap Trick, I would like, that's not that hard or anything, but it's like, but it's 70s and it's like, I know she's got the 70s thing, just something that rocks a little bit. Yeah. Yes. Thin Lizzy would be fucking perfect. You know, like that's the
Jailbreak, baby.
Yep. That's the tone they need to go for with her. And then Jamie Hayter would be like the perfect fucking wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that was a good match.
It was a good match. Stat
one
retains.
of the better matches of the night.
It was great.
It was.
And we move on to the finals of the C2. It's Jon Moxley versus Kazuchika Okada for the Continental Championship and to declare the winner of the tournament. If Okada loses this match, he also kind of drops the unified title as well because it's no longer unified with anything. So, that's kind of the stakes of this match. And Brett, why don't you talk about this match for a minute?
Okay, so going into this, like I said, the way Kyle had been, I don't think but none of us thought Mox was going to make it this far. I don't think.
Right. Nope.
And the story they had told with Kyle really just destroying that leg was like, well, obviously this is going to be how he loses. Okada's going to take advantage of the work that Fletcher already did. And that's how he's going to get the win. Mox, he gives a great promo before the match. Basically saying, about how important the C2 is to him and how it's everything he loves about wrestling. And how, he's never fought Okada before. He's talking about how he's heard all these things about how a guy like Jon Moxley could never beat someone like Okada. And he goes, well, Okada, son, you're going to have to kill me. And I was like, oh shit, that fired me up. But I still thought he was going to lose. And he comes out and you can see when he jumps over the barricade, he's wincing with that leg, and it's like, oh shit, yeah, he's going to lose. And then he fucking does it. And the thing I had mentioned earlier that I wanted to get to about, Tony took a big fucking gamble that the crowd was going to be behind Mox by the end of the night. And they fully were, man. Like, the crowd, they wanted Mox to win. I wanted Mox to win, not just as him being my favorite, but story-wise, I think the story they told was beautiful because you had Mox, who, like I said, he had been cheating to win all year, couldn't get it done on his own. He was being a coward. He was being a little pussy. And this tournament, he couldn't do that. He had to win on his own perseverance, his own drive, his own will. He had to finally become the wrestler he's always been. And he did. And he fucking beat the best tournament wrestler in the world. And here's something I think a lot of us overlook when it comes to AEW is I think us as, the Uber marks that we are, we obviously are very excited for new talent. We see the potential in new talent and we're like, oh, well, obviously this person's going to be a fucking main event star one day. But we do have to remember that they do have to book for casuals and they do have to stay true to the story that's always been told. And while you can have Jon Moxley take losses and stuff like that, Jon Moxley really is, one of the big top guys in AEW. So him winning a tournament like this makes sense, Like, it makes sense when he's a world champion. It makes sense when he wins these big time things. And like I said, I think a lot of us were, we had put all those eggs on Okada and everything. And I think a lot of us thought too that, okay, well, Moxley loses and this is when the Death Riders turn on him because that's been something that's been being hinted at. And when he doesn't, it's a shock, but I loved it because I love where they can go from here. You have the story of Okada lost the C2 for the Don Callis family, basically any chance they had. He screwed himself and he screwed Kyle Fletcher. And the implosion there is going to, or he screwed Konosuke Takeshita, he screwed Fletcher, and then he fucking lost.
Right.
You know? So that is going to be fun to watch.
That's a good
from the
story.
Don Callis aspect. And now you have this story of, okay, Mox is becoming a good guy again. I don't want to say he's fully there yet, you know, or that I don't expect them to just flip and be baby faces. But now it's like, okay, where do the Death Riders go from here? Do all of them just fall in line with Mox and they stop cheating and they stop being, you know, badass heels and they start becoming good guys as a faction again? Pac wasn't out there last night. Does Pac have qualms with Jon Moxley winning the whole tournament? Does he think it should have been him and maybe they have some fucking beef going forward? There's just so many places you can go, and I can't wait to hear Wild Thing again.
Yeah, that, and so, okay, I got like a million things I want to say to that. So like, I got to try to straighten my thoughts out here, but you know, in terms of like us being whatever we, you know, our fan level, you do always have that like, well, the smart thing to do would be to push the future. And that means that it should be Takeshita versus Fletcher. And it's like, yeah, but don't push the future too fast. You know, like I always fucking bitch about Randy Orton on here. Well, that's why, because they pushed that guy before he was seasoned and before he was ready. And he never clicked. Fletcher's got time. Takeshita's got time. They got a story to tell. And like you said, Mox, this is not unrealistic. Mox is like the fucking 4-time world champ. He's like the most decorated man in that company. In regards to the Death Riders, what do you guys think? Because, okay, so somebody pointed this out to me the other day, and we'll talk about this a little more when we get to the main event. But like, I was making cookies the other night watching Dynamite. So I heard what Hangman said to Mox. Or excuse me, to MJF. Maybe we should wait till the main event. I don't know. But I didn't hear what Swerve was saying to MJF. And it just looked like a couple of dudes who were kind of bullies beating the shit out of a guy. And I know MJF's a bad guy, whatever. It also looked like a couple of dudes dressed in all black coming out of the crowd. Just going to leave that linger in your brain. And then we're going to talk about Jon Moxley making a speech where he basically said, I want to bring AEW up to my level, but you know what? They're already there. And that's what the C2 is. We're already at this level. And I wonder if the fallout from some of this shit is going to be Mox finding out, like, you're going to reap what you sowed, dude. Sown? You will reap what you've sown because you've been pushing so hard and you've been pushing so hard. Well, now you got it. Now everybody's a fucking bad guy. Now everybody's a hard ass. And like, the competition was always there, dude. You didn't need to do all that shit. You didn't need to put plastic bags over men's heads and spray window cleaner in their eyes. Or maybe I'm totally wrong and I'm just reading it wrong. I just, like you said, there's a lot of ways to go with this.
That's a good point. And that's something I thought about too, is because I think some people were saying, you know, well, he can't just be a babyface right away. And it's like, I don't think that's what's happening. Like, I think, I mean, like you said, he's going to have to answer up for all the shit he's done. And are the Death Riders just going to be like, oh, okay, all of a sudden we're good guys? Like, no, like there's going to be some shit. And that's why I'm like, you know, like to the people who don't like Mox winning, let it cook. Cause I think there's so much story that can be told in a lot of different ways, even outside of the Death Riders, that,
big time.
Well, I'm here to be the contrarian in this whole thing. Couple things. So, number one, the unified title was a complete train wreck and made no fucking sense at all. I understand the concept of unifying two titles. Okay, it's not that. What it is it was made to feel like a really big deal at the time. They had a belt made. Kenny Omega is on one plate, Okada's on the other, right? The Continental Championship in and of itself as a single title didn't make any sense to defend. Okay, it just never did. Like, why do you have to win an entire tournament And then some dude can just beat you once and that's the end, like, of you being the champion. They shouldn't be able to do that. Doesn't make any sense. Okay. Now you have a national title that's being defended like it's an international title. You have a separate continental champion, international champion, a national champion. You have a TNT champion. You have a world champion. That's a lot of belts for one side of the roster, right? That don't feel defined to me. Okay. So I'm not bothered that Moxley won in the sense that it screwed, the Don Callis family from telling their story. They can tell their story from here, like, that's fine. I don't want to see Mox in this position anymore, or for a while. He needed a break from my perspective.
What position? As a champ?
Fucking, yeah.
Reverse
as a champ,
doggy?
as the guy who's just, coming out the strongest in the end. Like,
but
I have no problem with.
But that's the thing. Is he going to come out the strongest by the end of the story?
Let me finish my complaints, and then you can question me. Is he going to come out the strongest? I don't know. I really don't want babyface Death Riders. That's fucking dumb. Okay, I'm just going to say right off, if Tony Khan, if that's anywhere in your head, you're going to lose me completely on that one. Because, that's a terrible idea. They have raised way too much tension that Mox is going to get bagged for him not to get bagged. It's just got to happen. And I will further say that how many pay-per-views have I said, well, I guess maybe the next pay-per-view. I don't feel like this resolved in a satisfying enough way. And that was my biggest...
But that's the thing is, I don't think they're there yet. I don't think this was supposed to be the resolution. I think this is just another step getting to that resolution. Because I think ultimately what I've assumed in my head is they are going to turn on him at some point, or someone's going to take him out big time. He's going to go away, and when he comes back, he's going to come back as a big time babyface. And I don't think we're actually there yet. And I think that's what too many people are assuming, is because they're just taking what happened from one night as, well, this is the end of the story. No, I think this is just another step in that story. I mean, maybe Tony didn't even assume that Jon Moxley would be the face by the end of the night. Maybe he thought people would still be booing him,
He assumed he'd be the face by the end of the night, for sure.
Okay, maybe. But I think this is just another step towards the end. I don't think we're at the end yet, and I don't think this was supposed to be a resolution. I think it's just the next step in the story. The one thing that we always talk about, that we love about AEW, is it's not like the other company where it's just like, okay, this guy won the title, that's the end of the story, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. AEW is just a continuously moving story. And that's why I think it's
a comic book.
This is just one episode's ending. This isn't the end of the story they're telling with Mox and the Death Riders.
I guess what I'm saying though is I'm bored. I've there's been enough of this. Mox was a champion for the better part of a year. Right? He retired Danielson. He hasn't received really any comeuppance other than losing for a while. Okay? There's been nothing like that. We've had pay-per-view after pay-per-view after pay-per-view of Jon Moxley supposedly building towards this comeuppance. This is the last pay-per-view of the year. There isn't another one till March. I don't want to have to wait till fucking March. And as a fan, I love Mox. He's great. I'm just kind of over it, the Death Riders thing just dragging on and on and on. If they're going to turn on him, you had your opportunities, plenty of them.
I was tired of the Death Riders a long time ago. I didn't like the way it started, and then they convinced me, and then I fell in love hard. And I have enjoyed Mox more since he lost the belt than I did before when he had the belt. I think and I'm really trying to not compare it to WWE all the time, but we are accustomed to 3-act plays. That's how movies work in America, okay? And around the world, whatever. But like, especially here, we are accustomed to, you know, the first act, the second act, and the third act. And then when you watch a movie that is like a 5-act story, it's kind of challenging and it's hard. My attention span, I have a hard time with it. AEW tells, what do you call a comic book where it's monthly? It never fucking, like you said, Brett, it doesn't end. I think Jon Moxley got his comeuppance when Hangman beat him. I think that everything that's happened since then is just a different aspect of his story.
Put plastic bags over people's heads and suffocated them. He retired Bryan Danielson in front of his hometown. He has not experienced enough.
Yeah, but Bryan Danielson helped cost him his world title. And
Swerve and Hangman, look at the comeuppance both of those guys received.
Right, but you know,
they went through hell for the decisions they made.
Mm-hmm.
Mox has not gone through hell. He's just been a pussy and lost a bunch.
I could see. I mean, I think we're all expecting. This is the other thing that we've learned from AEW, and maybe we're going to find out this is not always to Tony's benefit, but when you know something's going to happen, whatever it is, whatever has been telegraphed that you eventually know is going to happen, and you think it's going to happen, not you specifically, but anybody, you know, you think it's going to happen on a 3-month scale or a 6-month scale or an 8-month scale. It's going to happen when you completely forgot that you ever thought it was going to happen. And I think as wrestling fans, we're conditioned because of a different company that you're always, there's a tag team, they're going to break up. There's a stable, they're going to break up. There's a good guy, he's going to turn bad. There's a bad guy, he's going to turn good. We are always waiting for the next thing to happen, and we're never just paying attention to where we are and what is happening in the moment. When is Hook going to turn? Maybe Hook's going to double cross Joe. Maybe just watch, you know? And so I think that's challenging because we're always waiting for that big thing.
This is one thing I really want to say with where, you know, being as busy as I've been lately, I haven't been analyzing AEW week to week like I was, you know, before I started this, you know, season of my life. Now I'm mostly just watching and taking what's happening at face value rather than trying to think of like, well, what's going to happen next? I'm just watching and I'm enjoying it, I think, more because
probably, yeah.
I was saying, you know, I've been more shocked by things that have happened and I feel more like, okay, well, fuck, like this is where we're at. Let's go, you know? And I think that that's one thing that fans like us, I think it's a disservice we kind of do to ourselves that where certain things let us down more than they let other people who watch it a little bit more casually.
Normal people.
Yeah, because we think because we've been watching so long, we think we know what story they're trying to tell rather than just watching the story, and just accepting and letting ourselves immerse in that story because we're overthinking everything rather than just like, okay, well, what's like, let's just watch this story happen.
Yeah. But if you just don't like Jon Moxley, that's fine too.
I do like Jon Moxley.
No, I know.
I think it's not to his benefit that he continues to be put in the same position.
That's kind of what I'm saying is we don't know what position he's in. He just he won the tournament, but what happens next?
I'm critiquing the creative decision because I personally don't like it. I didn't think that Jon Moxley had any chance of winning this tournament at the beginning of it, the night of this show. Okay, and they went in a totally different direction than I expected, which is fine. Okay. None of this is like a deal breaker for me.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm saying though, that if you're gonna like turn this guy babyface over the course of a single match, which they basically did with Fletcher, right? He wrestled like a fucking babyface. That promo he gave after he beat Okada was a white meat babyface fucking promo. Okay. Like that's not a guy looking to equivocate or like toe a line.
You think he gave a promo a couple weeks Oh man, within the past couple weeks. And I remember asking a buddy of mine, was that a baby promo from the
kind
from
of?
Death Riders?
He's been kind of teasing some of this along the way, where he's like, "Oh, after reflecting," but it's not like
no, it's not a full.
It's not like, "Hey, I was wrong for the way I went about this." Like, this is about the toughest man and the toughest.
And that's why I think this story isn't over, is because he hasn't atoned for anything.
But that's what I'm trying to explain. He lost in July at All In, right? He loses the world title. At Forbidden Door, he fought Darby and he beat him. At All Out, he lost. At Wrestle Dream, he lost to Darby again. At Full Gear, I don't even remember what the fuck happened. I've been thinking like, okay, where is this going for like months?
It's kind of hard to see the story, I guess. I see your point.
And what I'm saying is I think this was poorly told on AEW's part. I'm not blaming Mox for this. I think like you took like the Fletcher thing, what happened in the Fletcher match, too far in one day for me personally. And I don't think anybody else cared that much, because if I went on social media, people were like, Mox is the wrestler of the year, which he's not. I'm sorry. No. But Mox is great. I didn't love this. I didn't love what it meant for the belts. I didn't love what it meant for, if you're going to say then AEW rose up to my level, the best way to demonstrate that is have these people beat him. Like, straight up. For me, that's the way you demonstrate that. Like, it's not with Moxley.
This is my thinking. Like I said, I don't think this is it. I don't think he is.
I don't think it is either.
Face. I think this is just kind of not. I don't want to say the start of another story. I think this is the beginning of the end now. And I think what I'm assuming kind of is they're going to start building him up to get fan support behind him before the big turn on him happens. So that way, when it does, you're like, oh, fuck.
Right.
You're
already behind him. And you
feel, you're behind him. And that way, when he comes back, they're where he wants him as that baby face.
I just think, so I guess last thing I have to say about this, because, it's just opinions, right?
Right, yeah.
I love this debate, dude. I think this is fucking, I love listening to you guys.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm correct. I guess what I'm saying is, I think that, yes, you're right. This is signaling that there is more to tell. But I've been thinking that we've been telling that this whole time. And this feels like we've been running in place since July. And that bores me. That is not something that I'm excited to see how the rest of this plays out. I will say, irrespective of Moxley winning, if he had gotten bagged last night, I wouldn't even be complaining right now. Like, I don't want 3 more months of this. Like, I don't. Like, that thought of that, it kind of exhausts me. So that's how I feel. Everybody else was on social media.
I think the difference we have is I'm saying I don't know what the next 3 months are going to be. So I can't say that I don't want it because I don't know what it is yet.
Yeah.
Right. I'm
the
more
approach
excited
I try to take now.
And right. And that's why I think what I was saying more is like, I've stopped trying to overanalyze recently and I'm having so much fun is because I truly don't know where it goes from here. And that's what excites me.
Yeah. And I mean, there is absolutely, and I'm not trying to make like too many firm declarations here because I have, being a podcaster has been a very interesting experience for me because it has embarrassed me many times and shown me how wrong I am a lot of the time.
Podcasting did that?
Yeah. I mean, that was finally the thing that did that. Yeah. But
I'm trying to say you're wrong already. To be clear,
I understand where you're coming from.
I'm just giving my side.
No, totally. We're having a passionate disagreement. That is fine.
Beauty of a I think the term is dialectic, a logical debate or argument is when you're. I mean, I like listening to you guys talk, and I hope that you don't hate listening to me talk. I love the fact that everybody here is making good fucking points. I don't think anybody's wrong.
Right. Yeah.
This is why we needed Professor Degree on the show. He's the moral center of us.
I agree with everybody. No, I mean, I 100% get where you're coming from, Blade, because it wasn't that long ago where I'm just like, oh, another run in. Oh, I remember this with the NWO, whatever. So I get it. I totally get it. I'm just like, I try to pick things apart where it's like, okay, I disagree with that, but what's the reason why you did it? What's the logic behind why you did it? And I don't necessarily have to like the story. I hope it's a good and a well-told story. But as long as there's like a logic to it and there's something going on, it's like, okay, I'm cool, but I get it. Cause if you're getting sick of it, well, fuck, dude, I don't know when it's ending.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I don't know what the intention is here. It feels like the plan has changed several times. I mean, the Death Riders have been together a lot longer than I really ever expected or kind of wanted. But like, I don't think the Death Riders are the same today as they were when they started. They justified all the decisions that they made prior to All In with All In, right? Yeah. It's been since then that I'm like,
well, and Tony we've talked about it before. He has a tendency to like, this is my goal. We're at stage A and I'm going to get to this point at G, but the fucking alphabet that comes in between there, it's like sometimes it just feels like you're treading water a little bit. And so I get it. I understand.
I know I already said last thing, but truly last thing. To just quickly elaborate a little bit on this unified title thing, because I made this point a couple weeks ago on Sit Down and Shut Up, right? And people treated me like I was crazy or stupid.
I did.
And yeah.
And
so I want to be clear. I think what it made me feel was AEW treating me the way WWE treats their fans, which is like, hey, you dumb Mark, we got your money. This belt meant nothing.
No.
It really kind of does.
Because I hear what you're saying.
I started thinking about this. How many times was that belt defended? It was defended against Swerve at Forbidden Door.
Here's the thing. Like, it's kind of like a trophy. And I'm not trying to like get into the fucking belt debate, though I'd love to. We could do this for days. You said something about the Continental Classic and you were like, you win a tournament and then you can defend that belt later on. And you were like, well, that doesn't make sense. Nothing in sports makes sense to me. I don't watch sports. I don't like sports. I don't know why people would get in a car and drive in a circle for 4 hours.
Right.
Like that is boring to me. I think the Continental Classic to me is like, hey, remember that idea I had when I was like 12? Yeah, Tony. Fuck it, I'm doing it. You know what I mean? Like, it is goofy as shit. Don't get me wrong. And like the idea of a tournament,
and the Clone have entered the chat.
Yeah, like a tournament that you can defend. You're right. That doesn't make sense. That's totally fucking stupid. But
I agree with that. I don't think it should be a belt. I think it should be a trophy. I think there should be like a Stanley Cup.
You get a world title shot for winning the fucking Dynamite Diamond Ring Battle Royal.
But I like the idea that hey man, the 24/7 title that never happened before the 24/7 title existed. Never happened. Oh, I don't know if the 24/7 thing, I mean, I don't watch that. But I mean, they did it with the hardcore belt back in the day where the 24/7 rule. That never existed. So like you can't go, oh, well, that doesn't make sense because Hardcore Holly was fucking awesome. You know what I'm saying? So, like, this might be a failure, though.
It is a failure, in my opinion. Like,
I kind of like it, but I'm weird like that. And then the unified.
I think I just don't give a shit. I think that's where I'm at. I just don't give a shit. Like, okay, too, yeah. They did it, and now it's over. Whatever. We're moving on.
The unified belt, though, it is weird to be like, we have a unified belt, but only when two belts are unified, and any two belts can be unified. And it's like, remember when He-Man and Skeletor had the two halves of the power sword? And it's kind of like that.
I didn't think about that. That is actually kind of cool. Like, so say someone, say Ricochet ends up winning another belt. Now he's a unified champion. That's pretty rad. Champ. That's kind of cool.
I mean, it's a Listen, I don't know if it's a good idea, but it's a different idea. And
they said that it was going to be on par as like a second world title. They defended it like once or twice.
Did they say that?
And then
or
they
did
just
we say
gave
that?
up on it. Swerve
That's
wrestled
true.
for it in the semi-main.
Did he? Oh, he did
Door.
wrestle for it that one time.
Yeah, that's when he lost and got destroyed by the Don Callis family. Like, I'm just saying. So, just keep in mind, Eddie Kingston won the original C2, right? So he said, Tony Khan did. Well, Eddie's already, so Eddie's already the, what was it? The New Japan Strong champion and the ROH champion. If he wins this title, he'll be the Continental champion, creating a triple crown. And then within 2 months, he had lost all those titles, right?
Well, man, it's any given night, man.
But he defended them all separately, which Tony Khan, of all people, should know. Don't call it the Triple Crown if you're going to do that.
Especially
right?
when you don't own one of those belts.
Well, right. But this time I was like, well, he owns both those belts.
Right.
So I was like, get rid of the Continental title. And the International title is an unfortunate casualty of this unification. Right. But at least and then that belt's beautiful, right? The unified title.
It's a gorgeous fucking belt.
And now it's gone.
Yeah. The more we talk about it, I think I agree with Brad. I just kind of don't give a shit about a lot of it. And
that's the thing. You guys don't care. That's fine. I completely understand that. No. You guys don't care. I do. Tony doesn't usually do shit like this that just doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
And
my thing is I get your argument, but I think I'm one of those wrestling fans. I think I'm one of those wrestling fans who like, I understand that like wrestling a lot of times is trying something and then realizing it's kind of not working. And so you just give up on it, and then it's like, nobody cares in 6 months.
I just didn't see them try really. Like Okada defended it a couple times and that was it. Like that's what I mean. It was like Omega versus Okada unifying the titles.
Biggest thing ever.
Thanks for your money. Bye.
Hey, you know what? I remembered what I was going to say about the mixed nuts match. It was when Orange Cassidy he faked like he was going to put his hands in his pockets, but then he did the Daniel Garcia dance. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So the main event was a 4-way for the Men's World Heavyweight Championship.
Yep.
Sorry, was that a good?
I got this one right. This one right.
I did too. Swerve came out with the rad Green Lantern entrance. That was sick.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yep.
So when those dudes were coming out, this is when I know there was like, fireworks for a few people, but not for everybody. And there were flames shooting up, and there's like a curtain like on the entrance ramp, and the top part of the curtain was billowing. And I'm like, shit, dude, that thing's gonna catch on fire. This is terrifying. Those fireworks were so loud, they scared the shit out of me. I jumped.
Chadalaka's just having a fucking panic attack in there.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Close.
No, I'm like,
he's like, I've seen it, Glorious Bastards.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
I need to say this.
Yes.
I still don't love Swerve's new music. It doesn't do it for me. It feels
it's too slow in the beginning.
It is. It takes too long to get to the boppy part of it. And when it gets to the boppy part of it, there's no real hook to it for me. No. Like there's nothing like.
Whose house is it? Swerve's house. Whose house is it?
Thing, like,
Swerve's. I mean, that's what they're trying to get people to do.
I think it's not very
working.
Generic.
It's his newest single.
It doesn't give you enough time. Like when you hear ba 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 ba, you go, John Cena sucks, and it fits perfectly. Or with Kurt Angle's, dun, 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 you suck. It's hard to get the Swerve's house out. It doesn't. Maybe I just don't have any music talent.
You know what? This conversation is very illuminating because I see what we all care about. You guys are like, no, the theme music, the entrance music. And I'm like, unified title, you guys are like, yeah, we just don't care.
So I'm a lot closer to what you're saying than you think. It's just like, I try to not think that way because
you have to let it go at a certain point. Like this conversation is my venting experience so that I can go, and that was how I felt. and
Right.
like,
no, and we're like, the vibe, dude.
And that's why, kind of in the same vein, I thought Big Pressure was better.
yeah,
Because this is my thing that I won't let go. Is because I loved, especially for Swerve, it had a swagger to it. It was that bow, 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 bow. There was
I
a
love
bounce.
Big Pressure.
There's a bounce to it. There's a swagger. It's the perfect tempo for how he walks to the ring. But this new one, it just feels like, and maybe it's just because I'm not super into like this era of like hip hop music, and I don't really love like the kind of like, it feels like there's not a melody in it, and it pulls me out of it.
You know what I think too is there's kind of a chorus that's like really lively in Big Pressure.
Yeah.
And you can sing the word. Right.
When I try.
And it's so different than everybody else's.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is like more like just kind of this like Swerve's disembodied voice, just like whose house is it? Like,
yeah,
it just doesn't feel as like lively.
Well,
I will agree with you both. Like, I don't think it's as good as Big Pressure at all. I think at a certain point they should definitely revert. But the thing that surprised me about this, and I think it's because they're trying to make Swerve give him like that Roman Reigns big time entrance.
Yeah.
The house burns down, but it's taking too long to get to that point. And what Tony usually does is like he'll introduce you to the full theme right at the start.
Right.
And then he'll find a way to trim 10 seconds off the intro. And he hasn't done that with the Swerve one for whatever reason. And I think it would benefit from doing that if they just cut to the beat.
Big time.
And have the house burn down right at the start of the beat. You don't need it to burn down to nothing, with no music like they've been doing, which I think is it just creates this kind of like, what's going on here?
Remember when Jeff Hardy's music hit and he ran halfway down the ramp to save his brother and then he danced before he ran the rest of the way?
He was juking down to the ring.
That's what Swerve's music. It's like the old song was just like, here's Swerve. Swerve's coming out. He's going to fuck you up. And now it's like, Swerve's coming. He's on his way. Mm-hmm. Don't worry. He's going to get... here he is, and that
Swerve's texting. He's 5 minutes. He's 5 minutes out, guys.
Yeah,
and
Big Pressure even gave him that time before he didn't just walk out because it was like whose house. Bow, bow, bow,
mm-hmm. We had him.
It was such a shorter intro, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I remember the first time I heard that song, and this is like he wasn't managed by Nana. I was like, this song fucks, man. This song is good. Like, I like that song right away. And I kind of didn't get why, like, people weren't talking about it. And then when Nana added the dance is when it just, like, popped for everybody, right? And now Nana's, like, doing the dance, but he's kind of, like, trying to do it to the new beat, and the beat's a little faster, and the dance looks a little weird. Nana looks like he's on fast forward, like on 1.5 speed or something.
Yeah, that's what it kind of feels like. It feels like the song's too fast.
It's just it's something.
And when you're fast, you can't swag. You can't swag fast. So anyway, now that we've identified the problem, let's talk about the other three entrances.
MJF got the fucking massive pop of the night.
He got a massive pop.
Yeah, massive. And the other time that the crowd kind of got into it, and obviously for Hangman, but like when Joe came out, my section, which was pretty quiet most of the time, all of a sudden just came alive with Joe chants. Joe, Joe, Joe. It's like, holy shit, you guys been waiting all night for this guy. And yeah, like Joe got a nice little reception. That was cool.
Yep.
I mean, it felt big. I mean, when those guys were coming out and I was sitting there after hours of watching this and I look over at my kid and I'm just like, fuck, dude, like these, like, it felt like Hogan and the Warrior, Hogan and Savage, you know, back in the day when we're nostalgic because we've been doing this our whole lives. But I looked at it and I'm like, shit, these are the four big guys. This is it. These are the biggest guns right now in this company.
Absolutely.
And they're all in this match, in this storyline. It felt cool. It felt big. And it was a good match. I thought it was really good. And MJF,
it was a great match.
Giant flag. So is he where does this, I don't know if you guys want to talk about the match specifically or just skip to the end, but like.
Well, I will just say I really enjoyed the dynamic of Swerve and Hangman, which was like they didn't break the mutual respect bond. Yes. It was just understood that if it's down to us, we're kicking each other's ass, and we're looking forward to it. We'll see how we stack up.
And now I want them to be tag team champions.
It's crazy. They were doing such cool shit together.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved everything they did together. I loved Hangman flipping over Swerve to hit a buckshot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was so dope. But when it was time for them to go, they went, and it was fucking awesome. Hangman has the tights with the flames all over him again.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's pissed again.
One thing that I liked was they were going at each other, Swerve and Hangman. And then MJF runs in and they both stop, take out MJF.
Oh, right.
Joe runs in, they both turn, take out Joe, and then they go back at it. I love that.
Yeah. So I love that there's that mutual respect between them now. They're not blood rivals anymore. They're just like, you're in my way, well, you're in my way, and we're going to kick each other's ass respectfully, And
we're competitive.
I thought that was cool. And they nailed that.
Mm-hmm.
This match basically... This was the only match that literally went exactly as I expected it would, including right to the end where Hangman looks like he's got Joe dead to rights, and then MJF gets rid of Hangman. I think it was Hangman. Gets rid of him and then hits him with that pile driver called that he does through the ropes.
That's not Salt of the Earth, is it?
No.
Salt of the Earth is his. I think it's just called the Heat Seeker or something.
It's the Heat Seeker. That's what it's called. Yeah. It's the Heat Seeker pile driver, pins Joe. MJF's your new world champion.
And that's after what? 2 buckshot lariats that didn't get Joe down. So, I mean, you still have Joe looking like the bad motherfucker that he is, But the crowd, the crowd was really fucking into MJF, like big time. And I'm not trying to armchair book, but I had mentioned earlier the whole thing about Swerve and Hangman kind of getting a little rough with MJF, which he deserves because he's a fucking dick, and he deserves his comeuppance and everything.
Well, it was because of that they never got a response to that promo MJF cut when he came back. The other night. When he when he called Swerve P Diddy.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and he just got to go forever and ever. I'm curious as to where this is going with MJF. People talk a lot about MJF online, and a lot of people don't like MJF.
Well, so this is where I really felt like in the minority because, like, I'm watching people like they're so stoked about Mox winning. Mox is a wrestler of the year, right? And then, so like on Blue Sky particularly, it was like somebody dropped a fucking nuclear bomb on a country or something. Like, it was crazy how much people hated MJF winning.
That's the impression I'm getting.
And on Blue Sky, it was overwhelmingly negative.
Mm-hmm.
Elsewhere, I would say it was more 50-50. And it's so disconnected from the actual reality of the non-perpetually online fan base. Like, my reaction to Mox winning is disconnected from the reality of the fan base in a lot of ways.
Here's the thing is, like, you're not supposed to be excited that MJF won. He's not supposed to be a babyface. Like, you're supposed to, if you're watching this in kayfabe, you're supposed to be pissed that MJF won.
Yep. And I don't think, so I have some concerns that I think a lot of people are just assuming are going to happen that I hope don't happen. I like the flow of Dynamite and Collision right now. I really like it.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't need 20-minute MJF promos.
No.
Okay.
Well, what I was saying was, because I didn't see Blue Sky, like, were they mad kayfabe or were they mad like this is the dumbest thing AEW could have done?
They dislike Max because they feel he is derivative. He is, he's not like lowest common denominator. A lot of people say he's lazy, that he like not as a wrestler, but like his material is always the same. Make fun of the sports team, make fun of, and they're not completely wrong, right? They're not completely wrong. I do think they have failed to acknowledge the shifts in Max that I felt he was making last year, where he was exposing more of the real Max, that he feels he's a fraud deep within, that Hangman really brings that out of him.
That was what Swerve was getting into. I think what I'll say to anyone who thinks Max is just going for lowest common denominator, watch that fucking comeback promo he gave 2 weeks ago.
I thought it was
Holy
great.
shit.
Yep.
That was one of the best promos I've seen in a long time.
It was great.
And there's the thing with Max where, is he going for the lowest common denominator thing? How do I want to say it? Because he's lazy, or because he knows the character knows that that's going to piss you off? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes, I think he is
fucking
challenging.
Dick.
Yeah,
Right.
he is a fucking dick. I will say, and
but he knows, it's like calmer than you, dude, calmer than you.
Yeah.
Like that's what he feels like a lot, and I think sometimes I wonder, because that line is blurred, if folks, like, if that's what bothers people, and like, you know what I mean? Like,
I think that people felt, I saw a few, and I am just taking this from a few things that people said. I'm not speaking for everyone or anything. Somebody said that Max had some really bad instincts when he was champion the first time that took the company a long time to recover from. I don't agree with that. Like,
no, I don't. I didn't
that's
know
like making.
I saw that too, and I don't understand. I never understood.
I think that's like making him responsible for the Adam Cole stuff. And that's a Tony Khan thing.
For Adam Cole getting injured?
No.
Yeah,
I think it was for
like,
the more WWE-ish story that they told with the
that's such
vignettes.
a fun story, though.
Yeah.
So many people loved that.
And I also
that
thought
was like, I thought that was like a universally beloved thing. Everyone loved that.
Not at all.
So this is
a lot of people hated it.
Is Better Than You, Baby, from what I can tell, is a universally despised storyline, but I have never met a single person who disliked it.
Yeah, I liked parts of it.
Everyone I've ever talked to loved it. They thought it was so much fun. And then the whole Roddy of it all was always, so much fun.
What I would say is, I think MJF has been given entirely too much mic time without a laid out idea of what he's going to say, so it goes on.
I agree with that.
On and on.
He goes on way
I think
too
there's.
long.
It's been guilty of that, and I will say, and I think this might be over because of the Jarrett thing that happened earlier this year. Is the misogyny went way too far at times?
Now, Hangman called him out for it too.
And Hangman just called him out on basically everything that everybody complains about with him. So that almost showed like some recognition from the company that they're aware of that.
I think so.
So like you were saying to me about Mox, me with MJF is like, I kind of knew this is where this was going. And I'm willing to see where they go from here, because to me, Max has seemed very motivated. Yeah. I did think the segment, this week where they choked him and like we're talking shit to him while they're choking him. I was like, that was a weird segment. It felt a little weird to me.
But it did feel kind of like a little shooty.
Well, and kind of like these two guys look like they're just choking the shit out of somebody, and these are the baby faces,
right?
Like, it was two guys beating up one guy, like whatever.
That's what Chad said. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm thinking about this fucking pop that he got. And I'm not saying they're turning him face or anything. I don't think
they're not.
But like, I think there's more layers to it than people want to believe. Maybe, I don't know.
Yes.
But to your point though, I don't think that they're, like they're not showing you like we're sitting here talking like, well, yeah, Max has made changes, but it's like, yeah, maybe they need to be a little more obvious about it. So,
Yeah, I think what Max has done essentially in AEW in general is he has experimented with how far he can go as a heel for years. And I think he's gone way too far sometimes. Like, I don't really like MJF when he is the super serious psychopath heel. Like,
yeah.
He does try to go too far. And like when he was telling the story about like the girl giving him a blowjob in the car and all that stuff, I was like, what is this? This is weird. When he was, you guys remember what I'm talking about? When he was feuding with Danielson?
Yes.
I didn't like that promo at all.
No.
I was like, this is pro
Agreed.
wrestling, man.
Yeah.
Like, come on. And some of the stuff, even talking about, having the quarters thrown at him and all that stuff. And then Juice dropping the quarters in the ring kind of as a callback almost, even though Juice had been doing that in New Japan as a gimmick. Like, I'm like, let's not verge into racism. Can we not do that, please?
It's probably best to stay away from that.
Yeah. I just think MJF has tested the limits of the art form, and I don't blame him for that, but I can't believe that he's learned nothing. You know what I mean? And so,
MJF the character
also,
or MJF the man?
MJF the man.
Okay.
And so I think that...
But the thing you got to remember, too, is like how much of that is Max and how much is that like...
That's what I mean.
The story that he's given,
No. And that's right. And I think that we will find out because he's the world champion again.
That's one thing I think some fans have a hard time remembering is if a character does something, they're assuming that it's the real person, like, it's because they wanted to do that. It's like, well, not always. Maybe Tony Khan told him to go out and do that. You know what I mean? And I think some people assume that pro wrestlers have more control over things than they actually do.
Right.
Like with the quarter thing, like, was that Max saying to do that, or was that something that Tony Khan had them do? You know what I mean? Like,
right. Well, those are our takes, but I had asked our Threads community for their takes because I wanted to see where we fell in relation to everybody else, right? So Legion Publishing, also known as DC Camp, said, I got most of the predictions wrong. I am not mad. I have no fucking clue where we're going. The only thing I am relatively sure of is that Ospreay dethrones MJF on his return, and Kyle eventually dethrones Ospreay for his first title. But honestly, fuck knows. I expected Cope and Christian at the end of the tag match. There were no surprise debuts or returns, which I half expected too. I think we were saying that as well. I don't want a fully faced Death Riders. It doesn't work for me, but the DCF and Ops do need some enemies. So I think that's a very balanced take, to be honest. Let's see. Who else? Nuclear Wessels Sex. I never know how to pronounce this username.
It's how Chekhov says nuclear vessel. Like, that's really bad. That's
thank you.
What it is.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, and then I don't watch sports.
Yeah. Nuclear Vessel.
Yeah.
X. Being in the arena.
I figured that out.
Bo.
So let's flashback to me.
It's
me. It's Bo, and I'm listening to Sit Down, Shut Up, Mark Out a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, however long it was ago, and you brought that up, and you were like, nuclear, and I'm like, God, how do you not get this? But I used to tape Star Trek The Next Generation. So anyway, that's what it is. It's nuclear vessel. I don't know. I'm sorry. Some things are just
really
obvious.
took whatever value there was in correcting me way too far.
I did. Yeah.
Being in the arena, it was interesting seeing Mox's
your whole life, huh, Blade?
Seeing Mox's first entrance against Fletcher versus his entrance against Okada. First was a heel entrance. Second was very much a face entrance. That part of the show will stick with me forever. Yeah. No, I mean, he literally turned babyface in a match. And it was expertly done. Papa Jeremy says the Orange Cassidy Tony Storm waltzing combat spot was everything I didn't know I needed. Mm-hmm. Dr. Fusion said I was on the fence about the show. I wasn't excited for the C2 because I didn't even want Okada in the semifinals. And all I had to look forward to was a couple of matches. AEW delivered as always with some good surprises and then a huge letdown with MJF at the end. But I've enjoyed the time off from him a lot. And now we are going to get too much of it. So I think people do have that concern. Cavity Rock.
I just think he's a great heel to chase as a champion.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think people are also really scared that he's going to be champion for a really long time again. And I'm like, that hasn't been the case with most of the people who've won the title again. Like Joe was
champion for 2 months.
Joe was champion for 3 months the first time, or 4 months, maybe 5 months, something like that. And then this time he was champion for a month.
Yeah, most of their title reigns aren't But
and Moxley, he's a 4-time champion. He's had 2 championship reigns that were each almost a year.
Yeah.
But the 2 in between were like a week and like a month.
Well, and the thing with the Death Riders is it started out kind of shaky before it got good. So maybe it felt longer than it really was, Yeah.
And so Max was champion for 14 months. He could lose the belt to Bandito on Dynamite, which he should do. Okay. He should do that.
Do it, Tony, you coward.
You coward. Make Bandito the world champion. All in's in like August.
Right. So, I mean, I don't think he's going to hold it till August.
I don't think so.
Think?
I don't think so.
Maybe.
No.
I don't know.
Cavity Rock says, the thing I appreciated the most about the booking was that it was a bit unpredictable. No shit. I didn't see Mox
Cavity Rock. Cavity Rock's the dude. I like that guy. I chat with him a bunch. He's a good dude. I like him. Cavity Rock, shout out.
I didn't see Mox even being in the finals, let alone win the C2. No shit. Very true. Everyone has been waiting for the Death Riders to turn, and so far we got something different. TK didn't need to rely on surprises or returns. It was just 5 hours of really good wrestling. That is the point I guess I want to reemphasize. And in my critiques and criticism, I thought the show was very good overall. Like,
it was a fan. I had fun the whole night.
And you know what? I didn't even get a chance to mention it. It was such a little thing. In the Okada Moxley match, remember when Okada kicks out at 1? He didn't kick out of 1 and like muscle up. He kicked out at 1 because he was freaked out because he realized he was about to lose.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was like what a great little touch.
You could see that from our seats. Like,
yeah. Okada's like, oh shit, I'm fucked. Like, and then he got pinned like a minute later. But pinned. I thought that was such a great touch from Okada. Like, that guy's so good. Okay. Tino
sorry, just another part of the desperation was him trying to get a belt shot in and the ref taking it away. And that fuck. Like the best tournament wrestler is resorting to desperate,
another true heel.
Watching the best. I mean, again, and that's the thing is because like, okay, so Mox and Okada are like the best, right? They're both the best. And for the past year, one guy who's the best has had to resort on cheating. And now he's not going to, presumably, maybe not going to do that anymore. And the other guy who's not really ever had to resort to cheating is starting to figure out that he's a little older and he can't do it anymore. And now he's got to cheat. And that is a fucking cool little dichotomy there.
And there was a lot of little cool story beats with Callis too. Like I said, he didn't come out for Fletcher's match.
Yeah.
And he didn't, and he pretended like he didn't see Okada cheat to beat his own guy who's in his family. So Wrestle Kingdom should be interesting. Tino Ibarra said, loved the show. Lots of upsets that I wasn't expecting. Glad I didn't put any money down, LOL. I can't even pick a match of the night because I really loved it all. Even the mixed nuts match, which felt random, but it was fun. Now can we get Athena versus Mercedes, please? I'm down.
Just Athena on the main roster. Like it's
please. Jesus Christ.
Main roster, the AEW roster.
Yeah. I mean, we have Bandito. He's the ROH men's world champion. He's on the main roster for all intents and purposes. Benny the Bear 77 said the show is a strong way to cap off the year. Every match had a different story, and Mox, through the fire and broken tooth, finally got that tournament win. And then finally, the real Mighty Kyle said, not a fan of MJF being on top. He had horrible instincts in his first reign that took a while for the company to recover from. He's very talented, but I don't think he's the type of talent that make champions and build the company around. There's a reason Piper was never the world champion. I think that's an interesting point. That's a fair point. So, yes, that was clearly the comment I was referencing earlier. I didn't mean that as a dunk in any way. Just didn't quite agree, but fair enough.
That Piper statement is always interesting to me, too.
That is a fair point.
We have lived in an era for the past 25 years or whatever, where if you, and I'm sorry, but man, you fucking sign a WWE contract, you got 3 Intercontinental title reigns right there. You probably are going to win the first night. Like we have watched titles, we've heard the whole story of, they're deserving, they're not deserving. And title changed hands so much. And everybody who's ever deserved it has gotten their hands on the world title, some belt. And it's like, man, here we are 40 years later and Piper's cool as shit. And he's kind of cool because he never held the belt. you know?
Well,
that's such an interesting argument to me.
I saw a guy say the titles are defined by the people who didn't hold them as much as they are by the people who did.
I think I saw
that was after
too.
Eddie Kingston lost to Samoa Joe. And I completely agree with that. I think having greats who never held the title, like Jake the Snake Roberts, never held the title.
Yep.
You know,
it makes the title more
fantastic. Jake never held any belts. Ted DiBiase, no belts, you know, except the tag belts.
Right.
Okay, I got a piece super bad, so we got to go. I'm Blade Daly.
Yeah, I'm the toast of the third coast, Professor Degree.
And I'm fucking back.
Sickos Club.